Hello everyone, welcome to Sunday special episode of Around the World. Great changes often occur in the times of conflict. This famous statement seems to us to be completely appropriate in the context of today's global politics. A regional conflict has shaken the balance of power among global powers and highlighted the need for new security principles and alliances. Just as the change of a pawn can change the entire strategy of chess, similarly, this conflict can establish new equations in the global politics and security scenario. We are talking about the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. In fact, after the recent missile attack on Ukraine by Russia, NATO has clearly promised to support Ukraine, which has had a serious impact on global security. This development raises important questions not only for European countries but also for global powers like India, China, and the US. This move of NATO can bring a new turn in global politics and can affect the security approach of countries in future. In such a situation, the question arises whether this step of NATO will further increase the conflict or open a new path towards global peace, and what will be its effect in shaping the future of global politics in the times to come. Let us try to know the answers to these questions in this episode. First of all, let's talk about NATO. NATO, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is an international military alliance which was established on 4th April 1949 by 12 countries. The founding member countries of NATO were Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, UK, and the US. Its headquarters is in Brussels, Belgium. Its principle is that if a member is attacked, it will be considered an attack on all other member countries and they will retaliate together. This collective defense policy of NATO makes it important in the global security scenario. The number of NATO member countries has now reached 32, and these countries are called NATO allies. Political and security issues are discussed among NATO member countries and collective decisions are taken by consensus. The main objective of NATO's establishment was to maintain peace and stability in Europe after World War II, especially when the pressure of the Soviet Union was increasing. After the end of the Soviet Empire, NATO further expanded its role, and now this organization serves as a major platform for collective security around the world. Now let's talk about the recent Ukraine-Russia conflict. The war between Ukraine and Russia started in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea and supported rebels in parts of Ukraine. However, this conflict escalated into a full-fledged war in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine on a large scale. This invasion of Russia has become a serious challenge not only for Ukraine but for the entire European continent and global politics. NATO has openly supported Ukraine against this invasion of Russia. This move of NATO is not limited to military aid only, but it also includes political, economic, and strategic support. This move of NATO is affecting the global power balance as countries like Russia as well as China have also seen this conflict as part of their strategy. Currently, the military aid being provided to Ukraine in collaboration with NATO, such as state-of-the-art weapons, drones, and other military equipment, has become challenging for Russia. The support of NATO is not only helping to maintain the sovereignty of Ukraine, but it is also giving a clear message to Russia that the Western world will not leave Ukraine alone. According to experts, this move of NATO can have many effects on global security. The first effect is that if NATO's support against Russia increases further, then Russia may see its security in danger, and this can further increase the international war. The second major effect is that if this conflict continues for a long time, then the state of global peace may be in crisis. In particular, the security balance between Europe and Asia may change, which will affect the security outlook of not only European countries but also superpowers like India, China, and the United States. At the same time, China, which is a close ally of Russia, may see the results of this war as an opportunity for its global influence. At the same time, India, which is a major emerging power, is closely watching the development of this conflict. Russia and India have traditionally had strong defense relations, and military cooperation between the two countries is also deep. At the same time, India has always talked about the need for peace and stability at the international level. India's stance in Ukraine conflict has been balanced, and it has always advocated a solution through ceasefire and diplomatic dialogue. But in the last few years, the expansion of NATO has become an important issue. Countries like Sweden and Finland have recently joined NATO, which is a new challenge for Russia. NATO expansion could act as bastion of collective security against Russia. But it could also mean that Russia's security concerns would increase, which could deepen the conflict. This conflict is not limited to Europe only, but is affecting the global balance of power. NATO's support and its growing influence in the future can take global politics in a new direction. However, instead of moving towards peace, this conflict can generate more tension at the global level. The solution to this crisis has become a big question for global peace, which can have a deep impact on world politics and security in the coming times. Now it's time for this program's Sunday special segment, The World Around Us, where we will discuss other important international news. The United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification COP16 conference to be held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia from 2nd to 13th December 2024 will be the 30th annual conference of UNCCD. This time the theme is Our Land and Our Future, and this conference is taking place in West Asian region, which is grappling with the effects of desertification, drought and land degradation. COP16 will have two major parts, a negotiation track which will focus on political decisions and promoting global land and drought resilience, and the second, action agenda, in which voluntary commitments and actions will be made on land, resilience and people. Recently, a new ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has come into effect on 27th November 2024. The agreement is under UNSC Resolution 1701, which was adopted after the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war. Under the ceasefire, Hezbollah is to withdraw the positions north of the Litani River, while Israel is to remain south of the Blue Line. The move raises hopes for peace on the borders of Lebanon and Israel, but it is not a stable solution for peace in the Middle East. According to recent reports, Iran has held talks with UK, France and Germany over its nuclear program. The talks come amid recent criticism of Iran by the UN nuclear watchdog and rising nuclear tensions. Tehran had taken a tough stand after the UN strongly objected to Iran last week, but now it is ready for talks. So viewers, we conclude the discussion here and note today's question. What impact will NATO's support in Ukraine have on global security? Analyze its strategic consequences for India. For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.